Hi there, my name is Mtobisi and I am here today to share a recent project I've completed. So today's project is actually inspired by a project I got from Front End Mentor. I'm going to add the link below. So the challenge is to build an entertainment app. You know. So with this, what I did, I actually created a single page application, but without using any framework. So what I did, I actually built this using pure vanilla JS. But let's just get into the video and then I'll explain as we go along. So first of all, this is our main page. You have your training section, with your training movies and TV series. It's a whole list, I guess. And then over here, you can actually search. For example, if you want to search for Earth, these are movies with the name Earth in it. And then finally, you have recommendations. We also have navigation over here, so you can navigate between movies, TV series, and finally bookmarks. Well, right now there's no bookmarks, but you can let's actually go to movies, bookmark 1, 2, and maybe 3. You have your movies there, and then go to TV series and bookmark 2 of them. And we have a bookmark TV series. So what I did here, I actually persisted these bookmarks to your local storage. So if you actually refresh, you'll still get your bookmarks. No matter what happens, your bookmarks are actually saved in your local browser. So that's what I did. So now let's get into the code. So before we actually get into the code, we're gonna look at the project structure. So first of all, if you've worked with a framework, mostly reactive, if you've worked with React, you're gonna basically notice or see some similarities with this, and that's the approach I actually took when making this project. Again, as I said, the idea was to make a single page application, and if you actually look at the code, you can actually see your index page. That's the only HTML file there. Otherwise everything else goes through your JavaScript. So if you actually go to your HTML file, basically the only thing you'll find here is a bunch of style sheets, and then your JavaScript or your app.js, which is where our app actually starts. So that's basically that. And now we move to data service. So before I actually show that, I want to show this array, this array of objects. So this part would actually be our API if this were a real application, but right now it's going to work as a mock API. This is where we have our movie title, thumbnails and movie details. So and I actually use that data over here in data service.js. But before I actually go there, I want to show these two functions: get stored bookmarks and save bookmarks. So these two functions help me actually get this one's get stored bookmarks. So what it does, it checks the local storage and finds the bookmarks and returns the items as a string. And the reason I said JSON.parse is because we want to use it as an array or as an object, so we need to convert it to that. And this part over here is basically, this little feature over here is a failsafe in case we get nothing. In case we get nothing, to avoid an error, I return empty object. So if this is false, I'm gonna get an empty array as a response. And then save bookmarks is where we actually create the items. We save them, and we send the bookmarks as a string. We actually stringify, because unfortunately local storage takes string, not an object. So these functions, I'd say the opposite. And then finally we have our getters over here. This is where we use the data. With these functions, I want to highlight these ones actually. So get all content, get movies, get TV series, and get bookmarks. So I'm actually slicing the different data. So I'm slicing the data I actually want. So for example, over here, I'm getting only movies, for the movies page or movie section, slicing for the TV series, and over here I go back to bookmarks, get the bookmarks and show the bookmarks to the users. So that is that page. That is how I use the different getters, and yeah. From data service, I want to go to router, and I think this is the final piece of code I'll show. And yeah, I want to actually show load page. So this piece of code right here is actually what makes this a single page application. Because what first happens is whenever the route changes, whenever the URL changes, this function is going to fire every time. And the first thing that's going to happen, as you can see here, you're going to get content div and clean it out. And again, with that, and from there, we populate it with, first of all, if we're going to movies page, whatever that movie is, we're gonna basically append movies to the page, in the content div. Otherwise, if it's any of the routes we have, our routes here, whether it's movies, TV series, or bookmarks, or the home page component is gonna take that specific route. And then from there, once we have our page, we append it to content div. And again, this right here is what makes this whole thing a single page application. So yeah, that is how I built it, and I think you are free to actually go through the code yourself, because there are some pages that didn't touch, like bookmarks, is a movie grid. And again, what I did here, I created just okay, so there's movie card, but I took that card and added the card to the grid. So here we're actually taking in an array. So we're taking an array, and we're going to loop over the array here. And once we loop over that, it's going to give us basically our movie grid, which you guys are going to interact with. And yeah, that's mostly the code. That's how I'd like to close it. Let's get into the lessons. So now we've actually reached the end of the demo, or the demo, I guess. And I actually want to reflect on the project. So with this, I actually have some notes. The main idea was basically to sort of strengthen the front-end fundamentals. I think what React does these days, I've seen a lot of devs just going straight into React, just skipping JavaScript, and sometimes you forget, why we're using React. And this is why I did a project like this, just to understand basically what React does under the hood, because React does a lot of abstraction. So as I showed with the router, the mechanics is what we actually tend to forget. So React makes things easier, but it's also important, I think, to understand why we use React. And let me see, something that also I want to talk about was like the bookmarks. I think managing the bookmarks was kind of a challenge. Slight challenge, I would say. Not too much, but I think one thing I had an issue with was finding a way to actually handle the bookmarks in different pages. But as you can see, it's more or less the same. You handle them the same way, more or less. So that's why, if you actually go back a bit in the video, I forgot to mention that. That's why I actually wrapped all the getters inside with applied bookmarks. Maybe I'll just add snippets somewhere in this video, or screenshots here. But yeah, that's why I wrapped everything with applied bookmarks. So yeah, that was the project. And what else? Search filtering was also a bit tough, but I think not the toughest. I think one issue I had, this was real pain, was coding the individual pages, like the content you guys see, because I had to actually literally manually write document.get elements, document.create. Whereas with React, I think I would have worked faster, and I would have worked in a fewer lines, because this project, there were some pages which were 100 lines, which I feel if it was React could have been maybe 80 or less. So there's that, and when you're writing so much code, I think you really start to think about like different components. Like if you look at the patterns, when I use this again, FES make it a component, So I think also the way I approach React, or the way I approach a framework now, I think there's improvement, and when I actually finished this project, I was actually working on another project on the side, which is React. And even the way I was working on the new projects, I saw some differences, just because of what I learned in this project. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to share. And yeah, will I do this again? I don't think I'd do a project like this in the near future, especially with frameworks around. But never say never. So yeah, but thank you for your time. That was my project. Links will be shared below to the GitHub and to the live project if you want to check it out.